Good morning. We will call the meeting of the radio board to order here and start off with a roll call. Is Marty, I guess, is not here via Zoom or phone. Is that correct? Okay. Daryl,
Present.
Rosanna,
Present.
Thomas, not present, and Dave, I'm here. And okay, so with that, we do the take a look at the approval of the meeting agenda.
I'd like to make an adjustment
Yes,
on the sponsorship and revenue streams, like to add in there that I made.
you're talking, you were saying, you're talking about the minutes?
Yeah, you said.
No, I said agenda.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay, anybody have anything with the agenda? Okay, I do. And that is under new business, there's a note here that it's there's something presented by a vice chair, Daryl Kraus. And of course, we don't have a vice chair. So anyway. And that's my only comment to that, so I'll be presenting that if there's any I guess I should just say, from the Ocean Storage bylaws, there's no mention of the vice chair. In the absence of a chairperson, it's the responsibility of the secretary to conduct the meeting and handle the presentation of items. If you have any concerns or suggestions, feel free to share them. And other than that.
Did you change number 6 to whatever NBIM is? I'm not sure what that is.
I don't number.
Beach Independent. Oh, I always love to figure out what acronyms mean.
Yeah, it can be challenging. Okay.
I thought it was Brunswick. So I couldn't figure out.
Okay, well, with that.
And in the minutes for this meeting, could you change
Yes.
the NBIM to whatever it is? North Beach Independent.
Oh, you mean in the agenda?
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
We have to approve the agenda first.
Okay, yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. Do I hear a motion to approve the agenda as modified?
Motion to approve the agenda as modified.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. And that is unanimous. All right.
Does 3 make a quorum?
3 is a quorum, yes. And anyway, so, and then with that, now for the approval of the last meeting minutes. And you said you,
I'd like to make a change on that.
yes,
For an addition, sponsorship and revenue stream on the last page,
okay, yes,
that any discussion of the inner workings of the North Beach Independent Media is out of the purview of this committee. And that should be noted on there. So anything that talks about what they're doing on the inside is not within any of the responsibilities or of any 501c is not the business of this organization. If this organization wants to provide, many times they do, but I'm just kind of getting into a new discussion, but if they want to provide wholesale rates for advertising, that should be made available to anybody that buys a certain amount.
and
So if you want to offer them wholesale advertising rate,
yeah,
I think that's
that's,
the only thing that we have any.
but that wasn't necessarily as far as minutes go, that, I mean, it was brought up at the last meeting.
Yeah, and I brought up that I felt it was out of order to talk about the inner workings of the North Beach Independent Media.
Right, which was just part of the discussion, so I can.
Yeah.
I'll certainly add that Daryl, because I've got it recorded, so I'll go ahead and add that to the
So is that an amendment?
amendment to the
Yeah.
motion.
Then you need a second.
Yeah, I don't have a problem seconding that. I was here, heard it. So, so to add Daryl, because I know I was looking to see, I didn't add that, and I do not see your name in there, so yeah, I will go ahead and put that in the suggestion outline. I see it down on the website. Yeah, I'll put in your comments about that.
We need to vote on it.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll vote on the amendment. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and anything else on the minutes? The My only, but my question will come up actually during the meeting, because we did have a couple of follow-up things in those minutes, because even though you say the comment you just made, we also, said in that paragraph there, that, where Marty said that if the 501c3 should go to the city with a proposal, and if agreed, to get a note on what the city has agreed to, and that the board should review the agreement to see if we endorse and take a close look to understand the reasoning. So when we come into the station manager's report, I'll be asking somebody, I don't know, probably the treasurer who happens to be here for that, if that agreement exists yet, just so we can follow up on that. So, okay, with that being said, is the rest of the minutes approved? Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes.
A second, motion made and second to approve the minutes from the last meeting, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, right, that's unanimous, and we will reflect now that Thomas is now here. So, welcome. And, okay.
Doctors talk too much, I'm sorry.
Huh?
They always got to tell you what's wrong.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, especially when you're married, you want, I imagine, huh? Yeah. So, okay, well, okay, with that, we have, public communication. Do we have anybody online today, Sarah?
We do not.
No, wow, that's the first time Mr. Williams has not been here in a long time. Okay, we have a public comment. If anybody would like to make a comment for 3 minutes, we're all ears. Jane, go ahead.
I'd like to make a public comment, not for 3 minutes.
That's okay.
I don't need that long. It's more of a comment and a request. It would be really nice to see more programs that involve point counterpoint. We have our conversations with the mayor, we have our conversations with the city clerk that are very informative, but there would be nice to have more that the community can get involved with, and just counterpoint conversations on issues involving all of the residents in the community of Ocean Shores. Thank you.
Okay,
That's it.
that's it. Anybody else? Anybody else have a comment? No, okay.
Vita Pierre just came online. Vita, do you have a public comment?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Okay. All right, well, welcome to the meeting, Vita Mira. Let's see, okay, with that, we have the station manager's report.
There you go first. Okay, talking about when we go full power, doing something about news. So I've spent the last month researching various news sources. And I have identified 4: featured story news, daily cast, AP News, and CNN. I've had conversations with the latter 2, the other 2 were just basically stuff that I leaned off of their websites. Featured story news has 30-second news headlines, 3-minute news bulletins, and 5-minute news bulletins. And they run $15 a month. Daily Cast has 4 daily newscasts, 1 daily news and 60-second spot, 3 daily short newscasts, 1 good news daily, and 1 thing they run on Saturdays. Access to a 24-hour live news stream, and also the availability to make use of the breaking news service, and that runs $94.80 a year. Next is the Associated Press News. They have 3-minute and 1-minute newscasts at the top of the hour that goes from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. and it runs $8,490.84 per year with a 2-year term. And then Butch and I met this morning via Zoom with CNN. This is an approximate figure. They're going to be sending me over some more particulars today, but it runs about $500 a month or $6,000 a year, and it would
provide us with web content that we can embed on our website, and or if when we switch over to the city's website, I guess the city could run it as well. Rip and read plus some audio news content. So there's that.
Do they have a price?
Who?
CNN.
Yeah, I just said
Oh, I didn't-
$500 a month,
Okay, sorry.
which would come out to 6,000 a year.
Okay.
Also, there had been some concerns about the website. And if people have gone and looked at the schedule, Tuesday is now in its proper place. It just turned out that it had a post attribute that was different than the other days of the week. And I've also been able to resize a lot of the pictures that at least appear on the schedule itself. Now, if you go to the pictures, if you click on a show and go to it, then the picture's all messed up. And I've discerned that that has something to do with a style sheet issue, so I'm still researching that and working on it. But at least the days of the week are now the way they are supposed to be. So that's my part.
Any
No,
discussion on the news?
No, I like to, thanks for your report, and I know I thanked, what's his name, Brewster on the, getting the days of the order right, I didn't know you did it, so.
It's true.
Okay, well, I guess I thanked the wrong person, and he didn't mind taking the credit, so.
I have a question. for you. Are these like news feeds that you would get, or do you have to go and download?
You know, in the old days, when I worked in commercial radio, we had a satellite thing, so at the top of the hour, station ID came on, and then,
Click on the other source.
well, no, it just went automatically.
Okay.
These days, nothing seems to work that way anyway. Everything is downloadable.
Is-
So you basically have to go in, fish out the content. Like AP, they said they have it posted by 55 minutes, so that gives you enough time to download it and get it loaded for the top of the hour. But everything is downloaded now because we've moved to the computer age.
They're kind of labor intensive.
Very,
You know,
Yeah.
and prone to error, it seems like.
Yeah, but I'm saying that all four sources, it's the same thing. It's downloadable content, except for CNN, which allows you to set up a player. And like they were telling us today, you can, with search terms, come up with, certain things that maybe like we could do Southwest, Washington, Northwest Oregon. And so that would be embedded in the player, and it would kind of be a continuous stream, but that's not the same as what goes over the air. Nobody seems to have a satellite system anymore.
Or live feed that we could program, is there to click on this?
Yeah, well, that's what I meant. by satellite,
Yeah.
is that they just don't seem to do that anymore.
But excuse me, by labor intensive, what do you mean?
Well, it's labor intensive because just taking one of these, for example, let's say we don't have
So
daily.
they send this program over the internet and then you pick it up.
Well, they have it posted on their website. We have to download it. And then we'd have to do what we do with all of our content. We'd have to gain it and stuff and get it loaded.
Okay, another question, if I may continue.
Okay.
These, I'm sorry, I only got the daily newscasts, Associated Press, who was before daily newscast?
Featured story news.
Featured Story News. Now, do you know anything about these organizations? I mean, are they owned by Bob Roberts of Christian Broadcasting Network or?
No, featured news story is an international, they've got hubs in about 9 different countries. Daily Cast, they advertise themselves as plain vanilla. I've listened to their demos. They sound pretty plain vanilla. Great thing about Daily Cast is it's probably the most economical. And they don't have don't have to like cut out for, some of the news sources that, there was one other news source that I looked at, but it was too problematic because every newscast begins with an ad, which we would have to cut off. And I don't even know if they would allow us to cut it off, because as a non-com, we can't run ads. But
Well,
they-
you made a good point there. My next question is that, there are nonprofit news corporations or news associations that will comply with not having ads. And, I guess I'd like to be able to, being a nonprofit station, I think I'd like to go exclusively with a nonprofit source, because they already have the criteria that we're looking for. And I don't know the politics of any of these, but I do know, as you probably know yourself, as a nonprofit, you cannot declare your political affiliations or religious, tones. Which is what I want to be certain of. And I don't know any of these. I've never heard of, except for the giant ones, Associated Press and CNN, which we're not even gonna come close to. Have we looked at any local resources that are free?
There are no local resources that I know that are free, other than what we run already, public news service. We run that in the morning. I pick that up every night. And we run that. That is a free source, though. They would probably like it if, since we've been running them for 3 or 4 years, if we made a donation. Daily Cast, the advantage with that is it comes without any ads or underwriting on it. It's just a newscast.
Okay, and that's $94 a year. And that's 24/7.
Yeah, like I said, to me, that's the most economical. Although one of the great things, CNN, it's just, I think it's gonna be outside our price range, but that would be cool if we could figure out a way to do that, because we would become a CNN affiliate.
There you go.
And that would give us some, I don't know, little moxie. And in fact, the guy we were talking to, Joe, was saying they, if a big story happened at Ocean Shores, they would contact us first to give, to be on the show or to give a live news feed. And I said about the only thing that would happen here that I think the nation would care about would be a tsunami. And if you or I would be reporting, hi, Thomas Gardner here standing in 5 feet of water.
Like,
Well, psychologically, I don't think anyone cares what's going on outside of Ocean Shores or any other small town. I guess I'd like to see more inclusiveness, diversity, and equity from our community here. And I think I'd like to look at other resources that are nonprofit and see exactly, and I'd like to see a report. If you need help writing a report and so that we can all see a copy of what you have in your hand, that I can help you do that. But at the same time, I don't think I care if there's a murder, the murder in Seattle, or if there's another drug bust in Chicago. So unless daily newscasts can really give me more news about small town Oregon or small town Washington, I guess I'd rather read that Aunt Mary's 5 kids took her to her 115th birthday party. That's something I can relate to.
Maybe in the next month, maybe between now and the next meeting, Thomas, if there's some source of news that you could perhaps find that may fit that bill, maybe you could
I will
share
like
it
to do
with
that.
us at the next meeting.
Okay, yes, I can do that.
Okay, so thanks for your report, Trey. It was unexpected and I thought it was good. So anybody else got anything to say about the what Trey reported on? No? All right, with that, the station programming.
All the equipment for the full power has been ordered. And we've got it received, I think it was the transmitter. I didn't open up the boxes on a pallet weight 95 pounds for the. So I think that arrived on yesterday, so all that stuff, and my goal is to be going full power by June, or in June sometime. I want to thank Mike Price and his volunteers for doing a great job during the Razor Clam Festival. We had a very successful week, but the festival only, actually had a very successful month, actually. We actually brought in with the Razor Clam Festival and other items, a couple of new underwriters. We brought in over $1,800 last month. So they had a very successful month. Also, the city is working on switching from Host Papa to GoDaddy. We're in the process of doing that right now, so that's in the works. That's about my report.
Okay, I figured we'd probably hear more on Host Papa and GoDaddy on the discussion part led by Sarah. I saw that's on the agenda. Oh, there was one other thing I wanted to ask about, or suggest maybe, since Sarah's here on the pictures that you talked about, Trey, as Sarah said at, I believe it was at the last meeting, that she had a program to help resize pictures where it might fit. And I know that the pictures, for the most part, on the daily schedule look like you can see, say, 80% of the pictures, and most of the time you can actually see maybe most of their face. But when it comes to the, like, what shows up, because when somebody's on a daily, or when somebody's on air, and then you go see what's on the website, all of a sudden you're looking, and sometimes they may be cut off from the look down or the nose down, something like that. So, and I did get an email from Sarah that she does now have access to the entire website. So I'm hoping that as she finds time, maybe she can assist in resizing some of those pictures.
Yeah, it's not just me, Sandy and I are going from the front of the website to the back. It's a lot of WordPress, extra little doodads, as much as I call them, that are in these areas that are causing it grief. So we just got access, I think, last week, and so that'll start Friday. We'll start moving from the front to the back.
Great,
So
looking forward to it.
don't stop working. It will be a group effort.
Okay, but if something moves, you'll know where it may
Yeah.
came from.
We'll
Good,
have touched it.
good deal. Anybody got anything else on what Butch had to say? No, hearing none. Okay, so that's the station report, technology report. Council liaison report,
No report.
no report, okay. Board member report. Marty's not here. Daryl?
I got a couple things. First off, looks like North Beach Community TV has dropped the sports talk show simulcast. So I'm not sure why, but the station manager likes it's off the schedule and so are the promos. That's what they're going. Elsewhere, I've been invited, actually, I've been accepted to be a presenter next week at Washington State University at the Murrell College of Communications. And it's a two-day thing. It's the Murrell Symposium. It's 2 days of various classes and presentations on communications at Washington State. It's Tuesday and Wednesday. And I'll be presenting on sports communications, on how sports has changed over the years, on gathering it, reporting sports, and how people consume sports. As far as how that relates to students and the media all together. So we're talking about how when I graduated from WSU, I was the last class to graduate in black and white. As I explained, this, we've seen a lot of changes, and we experienced that in Wazoo Nation and how we targeted our audience, and we were pretty successful at it. Most people, they actually want to talk about Wazoo Nation. We can.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. You might be able to catch a practice or two while you're over there too.
Yeah, if I get there early enough on Monday, there's a baseball game somewhere. I'll get free entrance to it. Except that we have a all events press pass at Washington State for home and away game. So we'll take advantage of that. It's kind of nice.
Cool.
That's it.
Rosanna,
No report.
no report. Thomas,
Wonderful.
no report. Dave, you know, I have. I was at the Razor Clam thing, and there was a lot of people there. So I tried to help out on that. I know Rosanna did, and I know Frank did, because Frank was there with me. And so, and I know I saw Butch, so he was there too, and Della and a bunch of people were there, so that was a good, that was a good thing. It's sure nice that the weather turned out for it. And I don't think I have anything to report other than that. Matter of fact, I dropped my motorcycle. I couldn't believe it getting on it. Shows how old and dumb I am. Couldn't believe I dropped that thing. Just anyway. I won't go into that.
So
Embarrassing.
you were okay.
Oh, yeah, well, scuffed up knee and sore hip, but I'm good. Stupid, but good. No, I'm sorry, way off the point. But yeah, it was a good deal, though. I enjoyed that Plant Fest. All right, then, let's see here. That's all I have. So other than that, our next discussion is. Yes, under new business, you know, the bylaws say in the
Okay, let's back up one. Old
okay,
business.
old business.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't see anything under old business.
I'll look at the minutes from last week and
Oh,
Marty was to give a report about the Public Works Department, so I'll just
yeah,
continue
right.
that in old business for the next meeting.
Okay, so works discussion. Well, you know, and considering the minutes of the last board, I suppose I could ask you, I know that Frank also requested that you get a handbook sent out to all the DJs. Did you get one? On the emergency thing, I did read the emergency book that it was talked about in the last meeting. I don't want one, so don't send one to me. Because I read it in the station,
It's at the station.
right,
On the shelf right above for everybody to read.
posted on the back wall.
Yeah,
The emergency thing, yeah, it was pretty boring. And then, oh, you know, there is one thing let's see here, website discussion. Oh, I was also going to ask, I suppose as a follow-up under what could be a little business, just like I was gonna say, is, do we know, if the 501c3 and the city ever did come to any kind of agreement, formal agreement
for what?
for the 501c3? There was talk at the last meeting, that the 501c3 will go to the city and get an agreement, and then the board here will review it. I'm just asking if the 501c3 has come to an agreement with the city, that's all.
I said they didn't need an agreement.
Wait, but that was after the meeting,
Yeah.
so I looked at the printout that they did, and it was explained more to me where this is how much they'll charge the unreaders, this is what will go to this, and then this is what would go to the city, and that, we don't have to have an agreement for that. Like, it's on that pamphlet, that's what people know they're paying, that's what the board, everybody will know what money's going where, so it doesn't need an agreement, and we discussed that more, Trey and I got into it. After the meeting,
I was here for that, yeah.
yeah, so,
Okay.
so that's in my view, all squared away.
Okay, so basically was that pamphlet, good to know. Okay, then I won't ask that again, and I guess that is, I believe that is it. Okay, so that being with old business, then with new business, under the bylaws, it says that come January of every year, that we're supposed to talk about the appointment of a station manager. And I was chairing that January meeting, and it definitely slipped by me, but it did get put on the agenda for today. So with that, that issue is up to appoint a radio chair and well, technology person and same categories and station manager. So with that, I don't know of any nominations. Anybody's been nominated. Do I hear any nominations? Hearing none.
Could you read to me what it says in the bylaws again?
Oh, sure, I'd be glad to. It says that. Let me find that exact part here. Radio board station, radio board, let's see, Article 2, Section B, the radio board shall appoint a station managers who shall report to the board and be responsible for the day-to-day operation of the radio station. Such appointments shall be approved with a majority vote of the board. Appointees will serve a renewable one-year term commencing January 1 of each year. The board will consider all candidates who may be nominated by others or self-nominated. Current station manager positions are station manager, program, station manager, operations. The station manager's job will be reviewed at approximately 90 days from the appointment. And thereafter, as deemed necessary by the board, if the station manager position is vacated, either voluntarily or by board majority vote, prior to the end of the term, the board will appoint interim management to serve until the regularly scheduled appointment. The station manager is a non-voting ex officio member of the board. A board member appointed as interim station manager may continue their board position until the station manager selection. The radio board shall set and approve all station policy for implementation by the station managers. The radio will review the board bylaws on July 1 of each year, and that is pretty much what it says about that. Good enough? Okay. Okay. So here now I should ask if the fellows that have the current job, or if they're willing to do it again.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, well, then let's prefer to do this one position. I'm sorry, somebody
I
got
would to reappoint Trey and Butch.
I'd like to do it separately. Can we just do one at a time? Or you can wait for a second. I'd like to nominate Trey. Here no second. Do I hear a second? Here no second. I'd like to. Go ahead. Do you want a second?
Well, how are we going to do this? Do you want to do it individually?
Yeah, I think so. That's better. That's out of respect for the
Because the board, I
for
mean,
the office.
we could do it together, but it does say, you know, it does split them up in the bylaws. We can do it separately.
Okay,
6 and 1, half a dozen the other, I guess.
well, I vote to continue with Butch and Trey.
So that's it. Are you seconding what Daryl said then?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Darryl.
Okay. Okay, well, on that, I'll, not sure how to vote, but,
Discussion.
yeah, discussion, so, discussion, I'd like to actually have those, separated because, because I'll be voting against one, but I don't know how I can vote against one when they're both together. And if I vote against one, and of course, since we don't have an odd number of board members here, if another person votes against one, then we would obviously be at a deadlock, which would just simply table it until the next meeting when Marty's here to break that, which is no big deal, just a paper shuffle. So, and for that reason is why I'd like to have that separated. That way we can move on with one. But since there's a motion.
I think separation is because let's have some respect for the office. Yeah, that's how I feel about it. Let's have some respect for the individual, so that they actually know who they are, and I know who they are and what their responsibilities are, and then we'll all say, yay, and then we'll go to the next person, and that way I can understand each person as we come in front of the firing squad.
Yeah, okay. Well, there's a motion and a second on the floor, so,
All right.
I'd like to say that they've both done a bang up job. This is a volunteer position. And it'd be difficult to find anyone else to put in that much time with that much heart and caring into the positions. And this is, they really are the heart and soul of this radio station.
okay, and I'd like to say something too then. And I'm gonna say that as board secretary, I'm obligated to present my concerns about the potential reappointment of Butch as the station manager at KOSW here in Ocean Shores in accordance with Article 2, Section B of our bylaws. This section requires that the board to appoint station managers, and as a voting member of the board, I have a responsibility to ensure that our appointees are qualified to and uphold the values and professionalism expected from their positions. On Friday, July 8th, 2022. During unplanned visit to the radio station, I observed Butch making unprofessional and divisive statements to other volunteers. He stated that he and Trey would leave the station if Mayor John Martin did not fire voluntarily.
Hey, Dave,
Yes,
we can't do this,
what?
because you have a current thing going on, we can't do this.
I don't
in
have a
front of
current-
the board.
Uh,
Yes, you do. We can't do this in front of the whole board, so why don't we table this? Because you have your own thing going on. This for right now is not, it's not the appropriate time for that.
Okay, well, I disagree. And I'm gonna go ahead, my statement's only about 2 minutes, I'm gonna go ahead and read it. And it's just about past history, it's got nothing to do, if you're talking about a grievance, I thought that it has absolutely nothing to do with
Yeah,
that.
wait, you have a grievance?
Yeah, I do.
Well, then, it seems to me that there's a conflict of interest going on. And it seems to me that, I had to take a lot of ethics training
Mhm,
throughout my career at Bowen. And
okay,
if that's the case, maybe you should recuse yourself from this. Statements.
And I'm not trying to be, I'm not, you
Right.
know what I mean? I just want to keep you safe. I want to keep this safe. I want to keep.
oh, I'm gonna be safe.
No, I know,
Yeah.
and it just like that. I don't want this to go down a road that it doesn't need to go down.
Yeah, well,
So there could be, if you want to give us just a little bit of time to look into it, perhaps I'm completely wrong. And then at the very next meeting, a different, something different could happen.
yeah, I just didn't get my statement out there. It's something that pretty much everybody that's associated with the radio station is aware of, and including Marty. And I just want to get it out in the where it belongs, in the open, because I think it's my responsibility as a board member to do that. But anyway,
I don't think so.
okay,
I disagree. I think that
all right.
I'm not having any idea what's going on here, but it sounds like there's some other legal stuff going on. That,
There's no legal stuff going on.
well, it just sounds like there's something going on. That you should probably walk away from this right now and even not, if you want to give your presentation, but not
Yeah,
voting. for-
no, I know it's probably never gonna end, because all it requires is a discussion that's evidently not gonna happen, but I'm not talking about any grievance, okay? I'm gonna finish this.
If you have a grievance, it seems to me that there's a conflict of interest.
That's, yeah,
And there's ethics involved that you can't, it seems like that's out of line,
okay,
in my opinion, as far as that goes.
right. Okay, thank you for your opinion.
That's my opinion.
I'm on this discussion. So,
Ready to read?
yeah, I'm gonna finish my statement.
But it does sound like per Sarah, that more information should be brought up. Or
I don't
to
know.
find out more about the situation before we continue to move forward. Is that what you're saying?
If
Sarah?
he ensures that this is not going to be what he currently has going on, then read the statement.
Yeah, no, it has nothing to do with my any grievance or
Okay.
anything. Has absolutely nothing to do with it. So, okay, then I will continue. Anyway, if Mayor John Marks did not fire voluntarily Louis Marks, and also claimed that many others would follow suit. And this behavior, which appears to involve coercion and manipulation, is not in line with professional conduct expected from a leader as outlined in our bylaws. Moreover, Butch's comments about pursuing back pay and him for himself and other station contributors demonstrate a concerning attitude that could potentially lead to financial and reputational harm for the station. While our bylaws do not directly address this issue, it is important to consider the potential implication of such a mindset, considering the responsibilities and duties outlined in Article 1 and 2 of the Ocean Shores Radio Bylaws, which conduct appears to contradict the spirit of the board's responsibility to execute their duties under federal, state, and municipal laws and regulations to the best of their ability. Article 1 additionally, his behavior does not align with the requirement for station managers to be responsible for the day-to-day operations of the radio station as mentioned in Article 2, Section B. A station manager should be fostering a positive and collaborative work environment, which is essential for the smooth functioning of the station. Given these concerns, I am hesitant to support the reappointment of Butch as station manager. However, I also understand the value of growth and improvement. And it is my hope that over the next year, Butch's conduct will show significant progress, allowing me to reconsider my position on his reappointment. In the meantime, I encourage my fellow board members to reflect upon these concerns and weigh the potential consequences before making a decision. Thank you for your attention and let us work together to uphold the values and standards set forth in the Ocean Shores Radio bylaws and ensure continued success of AOSW. And that's all I have to say. Is there any other discussion on this?
Yes,
Go ahead.
I would say that. Any of the faults which has is not being, you mentioned about. In your comment. That when you prepared comments, I have unprepared comments.
Right.
And that you had said that you had to do some disciplinary action or getting rid of a volunteer. And that's, of all things, it's really tough to do that, dealing with volunteers. And there's a lot of things I'm sure that you'd like to do that you can't do. If this was a paid position, if this is a paid position, you would certainly tell the DJs what kind of more direction of which way their show should be going and direct stuff. And occasionally it's got to be pretty tough that when you have a volunteer to tell the volunteer, we don't want you to volunteer here anymore. And I think that's the tough part. And you have to do that at some time and say that we don't need this volunteer. We got this person here. And so I think that's really difficult to do as a station manager, because it's difficult to find enough people that's good. And because you're gonna bring in people that's untrained to train them to get up to speed at a craft that all they know is they like to listen to music or they like to watch movies. Doesn't mean you're an actor. Doesn't mean you're a DJ. So I want to stand up to Butch and say he's done a great job, and that he had to get rid of someone. And that's part of the job. That's part of the expectation.
I understand, and I appreciate all the long and hard hours which does put in. My statement is just based on one meeting that I happened to attend, where I was under the impression that it was planning a coup to vacate the entire radio station, and that's what my statement was involved in. And it's not just an opinion, I approve that. So, but with that being said, I believe, is there any more discussion on it? Not? Then we should go ahead and vote. Let's see. I still think we should separate the total.
Well, that's not the motion.
I know. But, you know, how do you vote yes against one and no against the other? It makes
I
no
think you
sense.
vote against the motion.
I know. Okay. Then, okay, all in favor? Say aye.
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 All opposed? No?
No,
Okay, so that is a deadlock and will be tabled until the following meeting.
Okay.
With that, I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to reappoint the technical advisor to the radio station, Trey. Do I get a second?
No. I would rather you table that until the next meeting.
Okay. Anyway, do I get a second?
Brewster.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brewster's a technical advisor, not Trey.
Well, no, well, he always gives a technology report, so I was talking about Trey and Trey.
Operation.
Operations, there you go. So anyway, is there a second? Okay, hearing none, then that'll just go with the other and you'll have your wish. It'll be tabled to the next meeting. And okay, now we move on to discussion, which is an internet service provider discussion led by Sarah.
I was just gonna give you guys a quick update that our IT department is working on the transfer from Host Papa to GoDaddy. And I did reach out to Host Papa because we were not going to make the renewal date by any means. We were gonna have to renew and they offered to give us prorated monies back. So we will only pay for the amount of time it takes us to do the GoDaddy, which shouldn't be more than first week of April, should be all ready to go. You guys won't see anything much except for when you Google POSW, it'll try and take you left instead of right for about 24 to 48 hours. They said 24 to 48 hours for our website when we did the transfer. It took like 3 hours, but they give that. So we'll notify everybody, send a mass email to the radio DJs and everybody, so they all know that we're hitting the button essentially, so that if you get feedback, especially as a council member, that the radio station's email or website's not working, or they're not getting to it, that 24, 48-hour period.
Okay, do you know, because is it gonna be, is it gonna cost the city more than we were already paying? Do you have any idea?
Not enough to matter. I think it was like $150 more, but GoDaddy's pretty reasonable, and because we already have several accounts, our library, convention center, the city itself. We just packaged the deal,
Good,
yeah.
okay,
So worth it, just a lot of things, and then again, that's what I said the last time when we were talking about the website, if I can go back to that for 2 seconds, we like to make a lot more of those changes after, because as you keep pushing the button to reinstall or re-update, it kicks it up the queue for search engine. So that's kind of like we purposely left pages and pages and pages of the city website, so that we could do it after it was completely online, because it just bumps us up in the search engine. Again,
okay,
because you're gonna go from one hosting station to another, and it's just gets us up there. If somebody pushes in K, the idea is KOSW will come up.
yeah, you know, it's funny how many people don't associate. I'll tell KOSW and then I'll say, hey, Ocean Shores, Washington.
Yeah.
Oh, I never thought of that,
Yeah.
so at least like our phone number,
Mhm.
you know, I'll say the same thing, well, it's KOSW.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's cool. All right, anybody got any questions on that?
No, that's part of my presentation, WSU, is about how sports reporting is going on, and you want to be in the top 5 of search engines. And so in sports reporting, you're talking about the Seahawks, you would say the Seattle Seahawks. And you might say the head coach, you know, what are the guy's name? I don't know. You'd say his first name and last name every time, which is against typical news writing, but you do that so the search engines finds it. And so you'd be at the top of the list. So it's the same kind of stuff.
Like the city of Ocean Shores is on our website like 15,000 times, because that's every time somebody puts in city of Ocean Shores in Google and Facebook, it brings up those two. So.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun. to manipulate it.
Oh.
Something to do.
Okay.
Yeah, that's, you know, it's funny to do this, so cheap, because I worked for a labor union once and we paid well over $100,000 to pay a firm to make sure that we were more recognizable. I don't know what they did, their hocus pocus, but I know we paid dearly for it to make sure somebody pulled up Union or of whatever, you know, steel or whatever, that our name might pop up, and they wanted to be up there. So, cool. Anybody got any other comments, questions for Sarah? I'm hearing none. I see I skipped and I screwed up, so I apologize. I missed something, and we are supposed to appoint a board member liaison to the North Beach Independent Media. Do I hear any motions to nominate anybody to be a liaison?
Wait a minute,
What?
you want a board member to be on our board?
No. No, if you recall, on the last meeting, we, there was,
No, the radio board wants their liaison on our board. You want our board have a liaison on your board.
both, we're just like it was said in the meeting, and it's in the notes, in the minutes, it said, let's see. Request to make funds, Sarah said discussions on 5013 were to resemble that of the library. And the board will have a liaison that attends 501c3 meetings and vice versa. So you will have
Oh, wait a minute, that's not your, it's up to our board if we want you guys to be a liaison on our board. Not for you to tell us that you're doing it. You don't have authority to do that.
So they have the authority to appoint a liaison that will go to the meeting.
That's it.
That's what they do. They don't, this isn't an active meeting, it's nothing, or an active,
No, but our board,
Voting.
it's not a public board.
no, but that's the way the nonprofits typically do it. And that's what this discussion was at the last meeting. The nonprofits will have a liaison, because what happens is if this board wants to make a recommendation to the city to pay for something, they then go as a liaison to your nonprofit or to the nonprofit, and they say, hey, we need $10,000 to pay the antenna, are you willing to do it? For example, the library, and I think I gave this example at the last meeting, the library had that back deck done. They're the city, they have their city board. That board liaison went to their nonprofit, said, hey, the city can chip in 5,000, can you do the other 5,000? Your board votes, they say yes, the liaison is that acting member to go in between, because you can't have it just keeps it from being non-biased, like.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. What I'm saying is, does our board have a say so on this too?
Well, yeah, I
I
mean,
mean,
yeah, you could not,
we should have a meeting to accept the liaison, right?
well, you can't accept one until they try and appoint one.
Well, they can appoint one, but that doesn't mean our board has to accept that person, right?
But I think what you're missing is that there is something that's not gonna look good if you don't have a different individual body. Frank, you're more than welcome to back me up here. A different governmental agent asking for the
Objective
funds.
entity.
Yeah, it's a non-biased thing.
Okay.
It's a non-voting member.
Yeah.
No, I didn't say we're voting. I was just saying I just wanted our board to know who was coming on and accept that.
And they're just,
Because we
but
haven't
this
talked
is
about
the
it.
person that you're still gonna sit in a group with and know, like, say it's Dave or Daryl or Rosanna or Tom. They're going to speak amongst their group and say, hey, we wanna put $3,000 on the antenna this month. We don't wanna go to the city and have them do it, so, hey, Tom is going to go at the next meeting that you guys have and ask for that $3,000. It keeps it hands clean. It's not, you guys are asking for the board, who's asking for the city, who's asking for the nonprofit. It just keeps it clean. So it's the most non-biased, clean way of associating a governmental board with a nonprofit.
It's not an autocratic.
And then your board, of course, is welcome to have a liaison. For all we know, if you show up at the meeting, you would be a liaison, but of course, our meetings are open to the public, so any liaison you would have, more than welcome.
The library specifically does it with two nonprofits. The Library Board of Trustees, which is our governmental board, does it with Friends of the Library and the Library Foundation.
So that's set in stone, that has to be that way, that we do have a liaison?
No.
Yes or no, or?
Don't know why we
It's
would.
not set in stone, it's
Or-
just,
It's a positive suggestion.
It could even be rotating, maybe you could be rotating.
you could do it any which way you want it, it's just, I'm all for it because it's clean. It's
Yeah.
going to be in the minutes for, that Tom Gardner or Daryl Kraus is gonna go and ask the foundation for $3,000. He's gonna report back, there's gonna be a check that's cut, and it all stays on paper. It's not, Rosanna called Butch and now we have $3,000. We'll have that all panned out.
And would I have a question for you then, would it also be that if this liaison, if the board ever had any discussion, would they be able to ask the other board member who's a liaison, hey, do you think our the contributing foundation out there might have an extra $1,000 where we might be able to get some help for this thing, and the person who is a liaison who listens to their meeting say, I think they might have that available. I can
Correct.
check at their next meeting.
Yep.
Okay. So with that, is there any other discussion on this? We don't even have a motion on the floor. I mean, I did make a motion, but I'd like to make a motion that we nominate somebody to.
I move that we nominate Gabe to be the liaison to this board.
Do we have a second?
Okay, so we don't wanna think about rotation, all of us rotating?
We could. Oh, right now we have do you want that to be a rotating thing, Thomas, or do you want it to just be, what's your motion?
What's Roseanne, what do you think, rotate every 3 months?
Two turns. I don't know how many months, we'll have to discuss it, but that we take turns instead of having one liaison.
Okay, well then I move that Dave Bunch be the liaison to the board for the next 6 months. And rotate from there.
Is there a second?
I don't like putting a time factor on this yet. Because we didn't even, this is new. Do I have to? I'll second that, but I don't know if you want to do every 3 months. I don't know if I want, you should do it 3 months or 6
Should make
months.
an amendment.
So you second to have this discussion, so you can have the discussion on
Yes,
what your feelings are.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? If you want to make an amendment, you can present an amendment. If you wanted to do it quarterly, say, I don't know that you'd want to do it monthly.
I think an amendment. I can make an amendment, we change it to monthly, I like monthly. That rotates around alphabetical order.
I think it's. We don't have a set time of our meetings on the board, all right? We may have 2 or 3 in a month even sometimes. It depends on what activities we've got going. So. I don't know how you wanna, we got a lot of activities coming up that we're gonna have several meetings going on. You wanna have a person at every one of those meetings? I mean,
If they're willing to go.
I can just say that's what the city does and we're on a 12-month rotation. And you guys,
Yeah. all
you
the
guys can do what
leaders
you want.
are- Exactly,
Right.
Frank nailed it. They're all on a,
Well,
basically
okay.
kind of the same thing. The mayor appoints them all as liaisons to these. They're non-voting members. They relay information, like Frank's responsibility, and he did it well all last year, was telling them what the radio board was doing, advocating for the money that's being asked. So, I mean, if you guys had 4 meetings a month for the board, Frank would go to 4 meetings a month as the liaison,
Because we'd notify them of our meeting.
because we would.
Right. So, does that mean we're gonna lose you, Frank? So you guys just do once a year.
We do it once a year in January, the mayor reappoints.
Okay, well, right now, there's a amendment on the floor. Is there a second on the amendment to rotate it monthly? Well, we don't have a second yet, so I can't discuss the amendment.
I'll second that.
Okay, and myself, I just think monthly is too often, especially with what Butch said, where we could have 2 or 3 meetings every month. I just think that it would be hard to keep track of such a thing. I'm just thinking out loud here, and I hate to get ground down in the minutia here, but I'd like to see it quarterly. I just think it'd be neat and clean. If a person did it for 3 months, then you would be able to, whoever the next person is, you could say, okay, hey, here's what they've been doing the last 3 months on the meeting schedule. You need to coordinate with whomever to figure out what their meeting schedule is gonna be and plan on attending it. That's my 2 cents. I think a month is just too short.
Again, I don't think NBIM has monthly meetings, right, Butch?
no, we're
They don't.
periodic, whenever. we
Yes.
have a meeting.
Yes,
There you
so
go.
that's not, but that's, okay,
That's
that's
hard
not
to
gonna
do.
work. Well,
Well,
maybe,
makes no sense.
maybe 3 months that they don't have a meeting.
It could be. That's why I think a month, rotating every month
I
doesn't make any
understand that.
sense.
Well, here's the other thing, we're too, but. Our foundation meeting, at this meeting every month. You can ask us then, I mean, what's the difference if we liaison here, or they liaison with us?
Because that's 2 different meetings. I don't know why you would do that.
Okay,
Okay, so we have, right now, we have an amendment. We have to vote on the amendment before we vote on the motion. Right now, there's a motion that says every 6 months, there's amendments, said we should change it every month. We have to vote on the amendment first. All in favor of rotating this every month, say aye. Aye,
I'll change my mind.
okay. So
Only like 3. They're not gonna have a meeting every month.
any others? Okay, then hearing none. We would vote on the regular motion unless,
That's 6,
which is 6 months.
right, if you want to make an amendment,
If you want to do that, now would be the
All
time.
right, I'd like to make an amendment for every 3 months. We, the board members, rotate to be a liaison for NBIM.
Yeah, second that.
Okay. So you second that. So am I still named the first? The first liaison in your motion? I guess?
Yes. Well, you-
And am I named the first person in your amendment?
Yes.
Okay, at least we got that up. Okay, all in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Right.
Aye. Daryl, no? Okay, then because of the amendment passed, the motion dies, isn't that correct? Correct.
Yeah.
Ooh, I got something right. All right, sorry, very unfairly of me. All right, well, being all of that, I don't know of any other business be brought before the board today. Does anybody have anything else that we've omitted? Anybody have anything good and welfare they want to say? No? Hearing none. Right now, we will be having a meeting again on, I have it written down, I got.
March 20th, no, that's the wrong date.
Yeah,
April 25th.
April 24th, I think I wrote somewhere. Are you right, Sarah? You probably are.
April 24th on Monday.
Yeah. Oh, okay. April 24th is a Monday?
Mhm.
I screwed it up then, okay. So we'll see everybody on April 25th at 10:30. And I'll be in here by a long distance on that one. And do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.